Cyrus is really busy this week with a lot of other renovation jobs, so I'm taking over this renovation of the OK Motors Brothers shop. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I decided to take some of the items from the Pocket Camp collection in New Horizons and go ahead and build an OK Motors mechanic shop. There are quite a few items I've been encountering in the game that I thought would fit really well into sort of like a mechanic shop setup, and given that we have a lot of the OK Motors stuff that kind of got ported over from Pocket Camp, I thought it'd be fun to do this little layout. So I'm going to be kind of setting up just different little areas in this room. I also found this really cool parking space flooring, which I thought was perfect for this. And for now I have this skyscraper wallpaper, but I don't end up keeping it because it is a little bit busy. So you see here in the corner, I'm setting up a little waiting room area. I actually spent a lot of time in mechanic shops growing up because my dad was a mechanic, and a lot of times he would just let my sister and I just kind of hang out in the waiting room, and I remember eating a lot of candy and kind of sitting there watching TV on the really bad, cheap television in the corner. So I try to bring back those memories into this layout. So I'm just kind of moving things around a little bit. I ended up switching stuff around a lot in this layout. It's a little bit difficult because it is sort of like an outdoor looking setup, with the skyscrapers and the outdoor flooring. So I was trying to make a room that seemed like a portion of the room seemed like it was more indoors, which was a little bit difficult. But you can see here I'm just setting up sort of like little sections. I put the outdoor table there. I don't think I keep it. And there's actually a lot of really cool items you can use in this, like the utility sink is right there, as well as those supply shelves, which actually come in a couple different colors. I also have a mint one, but I stuck with black because I felt like it would suit this little setup a little better. There's also a lot of tool carts. I have a red one out here, but there's also a silver one. And there's also some toolboxes I found a couple days before this, which is kind of what prompted me to consider making a mechanic shop as a layout. Taking this ironwood workbench because it looks a little more utilitarian, I think, and I like how there's a lot of metal and everything. I feel like it looks like an actual kind of like shop table. You can see I'm setting out a lot of these toolboxes that I talked about earlier, as well as some cardboard boxes. I like that a lot of the more utilitarian stuff that I wouldn't normally include in any of my layouts, like around my house, can be utilized here. It was a lot of fun. This is definitely a layout that's a little bit out of my comfort zone because I generally like to do either really kind of minimalist or clean layouts or really cute layouts. So this was a fun little challenge. I'm setting this little cooler here so they can stay hydrated while working long hours on people's cars. I didn't really like the lines on the outdoor table, so I went ahead and colored it black to kind of blend those in. There's also this little gas station kind of gas pump, and what's really cool is you can actually customize the little decal at the top, the little lamp, which is cool. I do end up customizing it with the OK Motors logo a little later. I'm setting up these lockers in the corner as a little place for them to kind of get ready in the morning. When they arrive, put on their OK Motors uniform. And one of the things I think is really going to help make OK Motors look like OK Motors is the sign here with their bird logo. I'm adding in this brake tapper machine because I thought it'd be cute to have just this little element here, something to keep the people in the waiting room busy a little bit, kind of keep them occupied. Plus it is an OK Motors item, so I wanted to make sure that I included as many of them as possible into this build. So you can see here I'm going ahead and adding in that OK Motors logo to the gas pump. And then now I'm just kind of like figuring out what else I want. I felt like the skyscraper background was a little bit too busy, so I tried different ones out, and I figured the shutter wall actually made sense because it reminds me of the shutters that they tend to pull down when the mechanic shop is closed and all of the car bays are closed. They usually pull down a shutter that looks like that. So I went ahead with that. It doesn't have as an expansive view as the skyscraper does, but I think actually it's a lot cleaner given how much is going on in this build. I also put the 3 uniforms for the 3 OK Motors brothers on the wall. I think that's pretty cute. Kind of makes them look like they're involved in this, even though their characters aren't actually in New Horizons. And I have no idea if they will ever come to New Horizons, so I wanted to kind of put them in the game that way. I'm also adding some snack machines and drink machines so that the people in the waiting room can stay refreshed and don't have to kind of sit and wait for their car to be done while they're hungry. I moved over the brake tapper off to the side because I felt like the layout was a little bit less cramped that way. And then now I'm just looking for a few other things to add in to make this layout look better. I wanted to add a fan because a lot of times these rooms would have like a very kind of old fan or very loud air conditioner running, and I figured this fan on the wall was actually a good bet because it adds that fan to the room without taking up any floor space. I also added a little certificate on the wall because in some states you actually have to get a special certification to be able to work on the cars, so it kind of looks like that. So I went ahead and added that. I'm also adding in some ventilation fans. You know, don't want to get all the smog in everyone's face. And then here I kind of had a little bit trouble trying to figure out what I wanted to do with this one area off to the right, so I was kind of like adding things and moving them around and taking them away. I also added this diner clock, which you can customize the face of and put the OK Motors logo there just so that it looks like it's a nice little, you know, shop clock. And then going in, tweaking the little waiting room. I worked on the waiting room a lot. I wanted it to be kind of like hospitable, even though it's sort of in a very utilitarian environment. And then I'm just adding like towels over the sink to make it seem more realistic. I also added a little broom off in the corner because, you know, they gotta clean up after they're done. And then here I'm adding a table along with these camper models. So one of the cool items that was added to that Pocket Camp collection is little camper models, and I thought it'd be cool to have them sat on the table so you can kind of like see models of what they can do to customize your camper. The customers can come in and be like, oh, I like that design, can you do that for my camper? I also added in a trash can for them. I picked one that looks pretty outdoorsy, kind of like something you'd have in a shop versus inside a home. And then I added a few other touches to make it really seem like you were kind of like in a mechanic shop or like warehouse type setting, kind of like a building that's meant for doing work, like manual labor in, versus just like an office. So I took this little cordless phone and I was trying to find a place for it because I figured, you know, they want to take their calls to see, you know, if someone wants to set an appointment or something. I figured they're going to need an office of some kind, so I wanted to set one up by the little model campers and kind of have that be the front desk area, but the lockers are in the way, so I kind of had to move them over and kind of readjust everything. Then I went ahead and added in this computer and I customized it with stuff that sort of looks like financial reports, maybe their receipts and stuff. And then I'm also going to add in a little office chair so someone can go ahead and take care of the kind of day-to-day office part of running a business like this. So now I'm adding in villagers. I figured Hans would be a good one to work in the shop, and I turned off the sink because it was kind of annoying that it was just running. Plus, once he's there, he's taking up all of the space. I made Plucky the receptionist. I feel like she would do a good job of kind of running things and keeping everything orderly. And then I had Tank sitting there waiting for his car to be fixed. And Filbert's gonna be here as well in the waiting room, and he's gonna be playing on the brake tapper and kind of having fun there. He did need a little chair because he's kind of too short to sit there or to reach the brake tapper, so I added in a little stool for him so that he can reach and play the game properly. I also added in Brofina. I figured she could be a potential client looking for a nice new camper design, get a new look on her camper. Of course, she's very fancy. If you've been in her house, you can see how fancy she is. All of her furniture is very elegant. So this is what it looks like. I turned off the lights so you could see all of the little lamps and things lit up. I like how much light there is in this room with all of the vending machines and stuff like that. But yeah, here's the layout. I'm pretty happy with it. Like I said, this one is kind of out of my comfort zone. I'm much more comfortable designing cafes and restaurants and cute pastel-y rooms, but because I thought the OK Motors items were just so nice, I figured I'd try something like this out. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. I think the areas are pretty evenly divided, so we have like a pretty clear waiting room and a kind of front desk receptionist area, as well as some lockers where the brothers can get ready. Yeah, and then the little workspace where Hans is, there's lots of shelves and things to store all their tools and supplies and cables and whatever it is that they need to kind of run their business. I tried to include a lot of little details like the towels over the sink and this little cooler here, as well as this style of trash can to make it seem like it's an actual mechanic shop. Well, that's all for this build. I hope you guys enjoyed this little mechanic shop build. If you did, please go ahead and like the video, give it a thumbs up. And if you aren't subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and hit that subscription button, as well as the notification bell, so you can know exactly when I upload my next video. Let me know in the comments below if you have purchased any of the OK Motors stuff from the Nook ATM, or if you have any ideas on what other speed builds you'd like me to do in a future video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye!